we are in the brand spanking new no cars.
No cars, so I think you have to go out this way.
Yeah, okay. It's going to be hard getting out of here. We are in the brand spanking new, let's try it for a third time, Mini Clubman 2016. And the headline, I suspect, for this story would be that this is the biggest Mini ever.
Yeah, the longest and widest Mini ever.
Yeah, you've gone up from subcompact to compact, right?
That's right.
So let me put it in perspective. In case you guys are curious what size this is, it would compete with cars like the RAV4 in terms of size, not in terms of segment.
Yeah, and the interesting
HRV.
thing, yeah, just to put it in perspective, size-wise, though, you know, for some people who wonder if it's still a Mini, it's roughly the size of the Volkswagen Golf. It's within 0.8 inches of a Volkswagen Golf. So that, I think, just puts it in perspective for people in terms of just the size of it, even though we say it's the longest and widest Mini ever.
Longest Mini ever. It's not that big.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It's still small.
Yeah, I think sometimes when they hear longest, widest Mini, I think they're envisioning our version of like a large SUV, and that's just not the case.
Yeah, you were just saying that you've got a new home you're going to be moving stuff into, and you're going to actually get one of these as your company car, and you're going to use it to actually move stuff. And I said to you, you know, you're probably better off with a pickup truck.
Right. But I am definitely looking forward to putting as many things into the car as possible. And just seeing how much can it really handle, because we know that it's 47.9 cubic feet. We know it's 5 cubic feet more than the Countryman, but I want to put it to that practical real world test. I once had a Mini Coupe a few years back, and I did a Costco visit there right before my son's birthday party, which was SpongeBob themed. I got this thing full of like just party supplies and literally just packed the whole thing. This car is significantly bigger than that one. So.
Well, your guy said that he fit a washing machine in the back.
Yeah, I think
that's pretty big.
Yeah, if you look at the dimensions, and when you take into account, I think what's unique is the aperture of the rear. So when the split barn doors are open, and because you have that flat load floor, you really have the aperture to fit, you know, a washing machine on its side in this. Yeah, and that's something I think that people, you know, would be shocked by.
I love the feature where you can kick it once and the barn door opens and you kick it underneath again and then both doors open.
Yeah, so that's a first time ever in a Mini. So when you have comfort access, which is an option, you keep the key in your pocket, you open the doors, but when you go to the rear, if you have packages, just a little kick underneath the license plate is going to get the right door to open. One more kick gets the left door to open. So it's perfect when you're coming out of a supermarket with, you know, loads of packages. So what I want to do is just give one kick under the license plate, and I get the flash of the light, so that lets me know the door is opening. And then one more kick underneath.
Always. We can get it. Try again.
So to give a little bit of background, there's a logarithm that's looking at the movement underneath. So what it's looking for is it's looking for that foot movement.
And these guys probably know it. You're not the first to do it. The first time I actually saw that done was in a Ford.
Right.
So it's not the first time, but it's the first time in a Mini. What is unique in this car, I think, that is not in any other brand is the fact that you can get stick shift, which we're driving right now, in every vehicle in the model lineup.
Yeah, and that's something we're very proud of. So there's only 4% of Americans who drive a manual transmission, but between 20 and 30% of Mini customers prefer to switch their own gears. And it's on every single model we make, and it's on every single engine variant. And it's even when we have all-wheel drive on the Countryman, and even when we have front-wheel drive. So when you look at just the number of different models we have with it, it's really quite amazing, because it's quite complicated production-wise to make all of those cars. But it's something we're really proud of, and it's something our customers really appreciate.
Now, you just mentioned all-wheel drive, and I suspect people will be wondering, will this be available in all-wheel drive?
So the nice thing is, because this is a brand new platform for us, so this is the platform we call UKL2. So it's shared through the architecture, rather, is shared through BMW Group.
Of course, yeah.
And the platform can actually accommodate all-wheel drive. So we're not announcing anything as of yet, but the nice thing is that the architecture can easily accommodate it if we wanted to go in that direction.
So let me translate that for you guys. What that means is they want to focus on the fact that they've got this car out right now because that's the one they're selling. But in a few years, when you need something else to focus on, right? When you need some more more marketing, then you bring out the all-wheel drive car. So
I didn't quite say it that way, but
yeah.
that could be your interpretation.
Yes.
But the nice thing is, and this is very accurate, when someone would ask me at the end of the old life cycle of something, when something is in the 6th or 7th year of its life cycle, or even year 5 of a 7-year life cycle, if you talk about adding something new, significantly new to the product, whether it's all-wheel drive or a different drivetrain, it's impossible to consider, because it's too expensive to develop it when you only have a few more years.
You can amortize the cost.
Yeah, so I think of it in those terms. It just gives us more possibilities for the future.
Once again, stay tuned. And going to the car that we're in right now, there are 2 engine choices.
Yes.
Right, and they're both turbocharged.
Yes.
Twin turbo, actually, if we're being honest. And we're in the Cooper S, which is the faster, the more powerful of the two. Let's just give it a little bit of beans and see, because I just drove the regular Cooper, and it was fine, but it wasn't fast, right? And you guys pride yourself on making cars. Oh yeah, this one's got a little bit more beans to it. So this is the one that if you're looking for kind of that mini, and of course you can change it to sport mode.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in sport mode, because then you'll get even a little bit more
pop. Yeah.
But it's 189 horsepower. It's 208 pound-feet of torque, so it's a great engine. The automatic, for the first time ever, is an 8-speed automatic. So that gives you fuel efficiency, but also gives you great 0 to 60 time. So the engines, I think, really have come such a long way in terms of they're the first BMW Group engines. That's still relatively new for us. That only came about a year and a half ago in the mini hardtop, in the F56, where we introduced these BMW Group engines. The 3-cylinder that you mentioned that's in the Cooper. So this is
1.5, right? That's
1.5. But this has significantly more torque than its predecessor. So it's a small workhorse. But what I love about that engine is it sounds great. It has a growl to it. This is certainly the bigger engine. So this is the 2-liter. This is, as we mentioned before, 189 horsepower. This is what I drive in my daily driver in a manual. I drive a 4-door hardtop, and I just love the way it sounds, especially just winding out the gears. But what's also nice is I have a 52-mile commute each way. When I'm driving on the highway, I switch to the green mode, and then in the green mode, the car is really conserving fuel. Because if you're just cruising along at between 70 and 75 miles an hour, you might as well just conserve some fuel. And then I switch to sport mode for the off ramps and the fun driving.
So I'm going to put you on the spot. You know the MPG?
The MPG is 34 highway
on this car,
on the Cooper and the Cooper S, and that's what that 8-speed automatic affords us in terms of the benefits of it.
And when you put it in sport mode, a bunch of things happen. The shift points, if you're in an automatic change, obviously.
Yeah.
You can also calibrate the suspension differently if you have that option, right? If you have
if you have dynamic damper control, which is a $500 option, it's part of sport package. It will stiffen up the suspension.
You get this cool red light
by about 10%. Yeah, you get this cool LED light ring that tells you that you're going into the sport mode. So there's definitely, what I like about it most is the change in the throttle response.
Yeah.
So when I leave the office at night, as I'm pulling out of my parking space, I'm pulling out and going into sport mode, and you can feel the car really like almost like really lurch forward, because what you're doing is you're changing the mapping of the accelerator. So that accelerator
Algorithm
is
that
now,
runs.
so you're really it's good, you know, getting much more aggressive as you're kind of pulling things out. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful when you do it.
All right, start her up.
And green mode is the opposite. It kind of mutes the, you know, the acceleration, because it's really trying to conserve fuel as much as possible. And
you're not
it's
still
a significant savings when you use it quite a bit.
And let's face it, you're not the only ones that do that, right?
Yeah.
It's become kind of standard across many brands. But you are really the only car company that really sells a premium car in this kind of market space, right? A small premium car. And that space, certainly on the non-premium side, has become red hot. So you were there first, but now cars like the CX-3, right? These the Fiat 500X, these cars are all in the space that you own for a long time, and now you're moving up to the next space, but you're still bringing that kind of luxury, premium feel. And I think when you think about kind of a partnership between BMW and Mini, you're thinking about, in a way, oil and vinegar, but yet somehow the magic works, right? Because I'm sitting in this car and I feel that this car doesn't feel like it's screwed together, but it feels like one solid piece. I think the Germans do that. I think if this were designed and built by the British, at least it was originally, you wouldn't have kind of that sense of solidity, that sense of quality about it.
Well, I think what we're really trying to do with this car is really redefine what is a premium small car. That's really what put us on the map in 2002. That's really, there was really nothing quite else like it in 2002. So I think we're upping our game. It still feels like a Mini. It still has unique personality and soul of a Mini. But you're right, it's become more premium in terms of everything that you feel, like a leather-wrapped steering wheel. We have dual zone climate control, which is really nice features. For the first time ever, optional electric seats. That's never even been a possibility.
Heads-up display.
Head-up display, yeah, exactly.
And if you don't want, a lot of this is standard, right? Like the dual climate zone is standard.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at a base model, I think it's $24,000.
Yeah, $24,100, and then with destination and handling, right under $25,000. So we think it's a tremendous value. Mini Connected, our apps integration is standard equipment in the car, and our base leatherette seats are really fantastic. We've got some great seating choices in terms of our leather upholsteries. But I'm equally proud of that base $24,000 car. I'm proud of really that entry level car that really is very nicely put together.
And if you go all the way and spend all the money, how expensive can this get?
You can definitely get over $40,000 if you go for a Cooper S, and if you click every box on the configurator, you can definitely go over $40,000. So that's why I really tell people, custom order these cars. I mentioned that I'm building a new house. It's going to take me 10 weeks to get a couch from Pottery Barn that's custom ordered. It takes about that time or less to get a custom built Mini. A lot of people don't realize that. We build about 30% of our cars,
which is huge,
custom built. Yeah,
I think you and Porsche are the only two that actually do that. Everybody else kind of buys them off the lot.
And that's over 10 colors, but it's also more than 100 standalone parts. So the nice thing is you could take that $24,000 car with a manual transmission, and you could put these blue Chesterfield seats into that car, and still have a beautiful car, and have these beautiful seats that I think you would see in much more expensive cars. And you're out the door for, definitely under $30,000, even with a few more options. So I think the customizable element is really unique to Mini.
And if people want one of these, when is it available?
So they're starting to show up at dealers right now. They're starting to roll.
Go check it out.
And we're officially retailing in January, but we might sell a few this month.
Nice. The other thing that makes, I think, Mini unique among all of the brands that are sold in America is the fact that there's like 10,000 different combinations of car that you can have. So not only can you order it, but even if you go, I was just we have a Mini, and I was just at the dealership, and I was amazed at the kind of the American color palette is very narrow, right? We've
Yeah.
got like silver, black, red,
Right,
white.
right.
But minis, my God.
Yeah, not only do you have extensive exterior colors, but then you have contrast roof colors. So this car is the first one where we have not only black and white, but we also have melting silver as a contrast roof color. That's unique. But also when you look at each individual component, like we have some door trim that has, this car doesn't have it, but we have some door trim where the LED lighting can come through the perforated holes in the, which looks fantastic at night. So there's just a lot to customize. You can do chrome bezels on the interior or piano black.
Nothing I touch here feels cheap. I mean, everything, there's no like hard plastics. Everything is, and obviously there are some hard plastics, but it's not a wash in hard plastics, right?
Yeah,
everything seems really soft.
I think the designers really did a masterful job in just kind of raising the game of the Mini interior. And there's another element that's interesting, which is it's not simply the interior from the hardtop, from the F-56, just dropped into a bigger car. It is a completely different interior. It has some of the same cues, like the center instrument, which really go back to the early days of Mini, but it really is a custom design for this car, and that's what gives it its own personality, a little more character from the hardtop.
I think it's probably the best looking Mini in the lineup right now because it's got that classic low, wide stance.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they took those rear lights and they turned them sideways.
Yeah, very modern looking.
Yeah, to make it. And actually, I think from the back, the car looks better than it does from the front because obviously it's got the corporate front face on it, right? But the back is unique to the basement.
Well, the front to me is like the familiar face of Mini, a little wider stance. A little more substantial, but in the rear it's very modern looking, and it's a great looking car on the road. It really is. We're only starting to see them on the road for the first time on this event because it's still so new, but it really is looking great.
All right, so I have to ask you, since you're the product planner for Mini, what's coming down the pike? What else are we going to see from Mini?
So we just debuted at the LA Auto Show, the North American premiere of the new convertible. So we have the F-57 convertible. So that also is a tiny bit longer and wider than its predecessor. Some great new colors. It takes over all of the benefits of that F-56 platform. So it has these new great BMW Group engines and the Cooper and the Cooper S. So we're quite excited. And that, for the first time ever, there's an optional roof on that car that has an embroidered Union Jack. And
so it's going to be in the convertible as well.
Yeah, so we've never been able to individualize the Union Jack into the convertible top until now. So that's a really neat thing. And if you look closely at the pattern in that material, you'll see the herringbone that's also in the dash trim. So it's really, the attention to detail that the designers really have put into these cars.
So that's next.
So that's perfect. So that will be out so this car is December, January. That car will be out in March, so just in time for spring and summer. My favorite new color on that car is Caribbean Aqua, so really a great new color. And also melting silver from the Clubman lineup carries over to that line as well. So.
And the rest of the year, anything else coming?
Some special editions. We just released the Carbon Edition, which is our 4-door hardtop, which is some high performance accessories. That's out as well. And then we've got our model year changeover this summer. So
busy year for you.
Yeah, busy year.
And a house.
Yeah, and a house and 2 brand new Minis in the lineup. So it's a good year for Mini.
Welcome to the Phoenix Auto Show, International Auto Show. Go figure. Every year we like to do a fun video from here, and this year we thought, you know what? Let's do a video that focuses on the top 5 often overlooked cars. And this, of course, is not one of them. It's the brand new Mazda Miata, but this over here is certainly one of them. It's the Mazda 3. And oftentimes when people think of compact cars in this segment, they think Civic, they think Corolla, but they don't think Mazda. And the reason for that is, well, Mazda has a very small dealer network. It doesn't have the publicity dollars, but it does have one hell of a good car. This is probably the sportiest car in this segment. It's certainly the most fun to drive, and it's number 5 on our list of top 5 often overlooked cars.